you're actually, as a six-figure network marketer who's doing well, who's making money, who's already getting some traction in their business, what most people don't realize is to get from 6 figures to 7 figures, dialing in simplicity, eliminating a lot of bullshit, and simplifying is a major piece of the puzzle. It's a major missing link, because then when all this other stuff is kind of cut away, everything is in order, everything's working smoothly, you're able to show up to your business where you already have a lot of training, a lot of mentors, coaches, support, and like pieces of the puzzle that is required for you to be successful. That's already there. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Diamond Life TV, episode number 12, I believe. It's been a couple of weeks since I've had a call with you guys. I wanted to pop out here today, reconnect, say hello, see how you guys are doing, and catch up a little bit. So go ahead and comment below. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how you're feeling. Say hi. If you're catching the replay, make sure you do hashtag replay below and let me know what city you're in. And today I just wanted to come out here and kind of update you guys on a few things that have been going on for me recently. And it's not going to be a specific topic like it is, most of the time, but it's going to just be kind of random flow of value. And I want you to really pay attention to the little nuances or like hidden gems or hidden nuggets in what I'm going to be talking about for the next half hour or so. And as you learn something or have a paradigm shift or think differently, I want you to comment below what that is for you. Let's hang out a little bit. So recently there's been a lot of shifts happening for me. And obviously, as most of you know, my wife is 7 months pregnant, and we're so excited to be in the third trimester now and really getting things prepared and doing a lot of, nesting, if you will, and planning and preparing, and lots to do, lots going on, but it's all positive things, lots of sort of things that were put on the back burner the last couple of years. I'm finally getting them done. So, I mean, she's already motivating me. She's already got me wrapped around her finger and she's not even here yet. So I can only imagine what's going to happen when she arrives. But what's been going on is this interesting shift, which I want to share with you a little bit about. And I want you to think about this in your life too. So often we start doing something, or we have an idea, right? And it seems like a good idea at the time. And then you work on it for a little while, and then it becomes something that you don't really want to be doing anymore. And this could be in all different areas of your life. Maybe you sign up to a gym, you don't really like that gym. Maybe you started going to a class, don't really like that class. Maybe you're in a relationship, don't really like that person anymore. Maybe you have a job, your job blows and you're not happy and you're grumpy and you're negative and you don't even realize it. And so a lot of the time, something that seemed like a good idea stops being a good idea, but people don't realize that they can make a change. And sometimes change is uncomfortable, it's inconvenient, it's annoying. You might even lose money in some cases. You might feel like you're kind of backtracking, you know what I mean, or losing momentum sometimes. And this is the reason why often people are like, I'll just keep doing it, or I'm going to finish what I started, or I'm going to keep going. And so the reason why I'm bringing this up is because in the last little bit, my plan, so I took my team to Mexico at the end of last year, and we had like a planning session for 2020. And a lot of the things that we planned has happened, and it has unfolded in a way that I thought. But there have been obviously a lot of unexpected things with the world and the economy and society and COVID, and lots of crazy shit has happened basically in 2020, as you know. But on a personal level, I felt like I would have this 9 months of pregnancy as almost like the final 9 months, like the final push to get somewhere, not really sure exactly where, but somewhere where I wasn't at the beginning of the year. And it wasn't until I hired a business energy coach that has been amazing, so powerful recently, that I started to let the momentum and the results and the success and like the life that we have today actually kind of sink in. And I guess part of the reason why is because there was a level of fear around getting comfortable or getting complacent, or like, you hear these things being like, if you take your foot off the gas, things start to fall apart, and all this kind of negative thing around shifting gears, different seasons. So for me, this whole nesting, taking it easy, enjoying life, I didn't expect it. I didn't see it coming. I thought it was going to happen when she's born. And it's actually been like this really powerful energy that's been shifting inside of me progressively more and more and more in the last like little while. So I'm now having to listen instead of trying to like quiet this voice and ignore it and, willfully overpower it and say, no, it's not the right time. I'm going to do what I said I was going to do and finish and all this kind of thing. So where I guess my personal transition period is relevant to you, and how I think it's really powerful and important for you to consider this, is take inventory of your day, take inventory of your time, take inventory of things that you've chosen to do or be a part of, or commitments or anything like that, that maybe isn't really what you want anymore. Maybe you need to make a shift. You need to make a change. You need to clean house, do a bit of a reconsider and be like, nah, you know what? And I think my brother mentioned there's a term for this. I can't remember off the top of my head, and I don't think he's watching right now, but it's like a loss aversion or something, where you've put in effort, energy, money, you've gotten to a certain point, and you often can be feeling kind of trapped in that, where you're like, oh man, I've gotten it this far. It's like 40% done. Let me just finish it. But sometimes what you really need to do is get rid of that and take your losses and transition, because it frees you. It frees your energy. It frees your mind. It frees your kind of what's on your heart and what is your focus. So possibly some of you may need to be hearing this, is that you're got split focus, or you took on too much, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling pressure, you're feeling distracted. And if you simplify your life and you take things back a notch, it allows you to actually get to where you ultimately want it to go faster, with more ease, with more flow, with more simplicity. And this has been such a interesting time for me, because in the last like 7 years when I was building my business, one thing I really prided myself on is when other people were involved and there was a meeting, an appointment, a call, something like that, I very, very rarely canceled. I very, very rarely rescheduled, because I just had this need, this feeling like I got to stick to my word. I got to keep and hold my promises and all this kind of stuff. And I think that's important. And it's one of my strengths, and it's a good thing. However, there comes a time when you've earned the right to look out for yourself, right? You've learned the right to say, you know what, today's not going to work. And it doesn't have to be a lie. It doesn't have to be an excuse. It could just be literally like, today, just not feeling it. It's going to have to be tomorrow or another time. And the more you're truthful, the more you're honest in those cases, the more power you actually gain from that, because indirectly you're honoring you. And when you honor you and you keep your word with you, and you put yourself in a place of like respecting how you're feeling, respecting what you might be going through or whatever, it actually gives you power. It gives you power to create. It gives you power to manifest. It gives you power to show up differently. And often our priorities are not congruent with our actions and vice versa. So what I'm saying is, like, for me, my wife has always been my priority, but I now look back on some of my actions, and in certain circumstances, I made a choice or a decision to do something business related or work related, and it made her feel like maybe she wasn't my priority, even though she was supportive, even though she was understanding. It probably would have felt that way, And now, moving into this new chapter in my life, becoming a father, being more in love with Margaret than ever before, and like getting closer with her, and all this process that's happening, I have zero hesitation to pivot, adjust, cancel, reschedule if needed, if required, in those situations of like, what is my priority? And it's very powerful. And often, like, we know this to be true. You probably know this to be true in your heart. You're like, yeah, 100%. But in reality, how we show up, how we execute, can often not be in accordance with this. So if you're getting value, if this is landing for you, if this is kind of making you think about what you may need to do differently, what you may need to change, drop me a heart, drop me a little like, drop me a comment, let me know that you're vibing with this, and then we'll kind of continue from there. So that's the big thing. The next thing too is when you think about cutting losses, it has always been kind of a harder thing for me. And so I've always been the one that kind of lets it fall apart, or lets somebody else make the call, or let someone else make this decision. So I've always been somebody who likes to make decisions quickly, but then I like to change them slowly. And it's hard. Like, I sit with it, I process it, I mull it over. I'm like, should I not? You know what I mean? And this can affect you, because until that decision gets made, until the Band-Aid gets ripped off, until it's like officially left or right, not sitting there in the intersection thinking about it, it essentially is weighing you down, right? Like, energetically, it's there. And this is why I wanted to really work with an energy business coach, because he's able to recognize that. He's like, man, this energy right here is actually showing up like this. And so what I learned about myself during this recently is that if something turns into a passion, like if it starts off as a passionate idea, and I'm really excited about it and I want to work towards it or do it, and then it shifts into an obligation for some reason along the way, it totally shuts me down. I don't want to do it. I don't give a shit about it. It's like strange, even though the actual action of it is something that I do enjoy. So there's this weird connection. Is like, as soon as it's like I have to, instead of I get to or I want to, might as well, not even do it. So that's kind of where I've been at. It's been really cool and interesting to see myself kind of like from an not outer body, that's not the right way to say it, but just almost kind of like observing and seeing where I need to make these changes. And the thing is like, now it's coming up being like, man, I just don't really give a fuck about some things that I used to care about a lot. And it's a weird feeling, because you're like, is that okay to feel like that? Does that make me a bad person? Does that make me a bad leader? Does that make me a bad entrepreneur? All these things where you're like, man, but that's really the truth though. That's really the feeling. And so I've had to go back, revisit things. And the biggest thought that I was having as well, is as I keep thinking about being a dad and what life will be like, and there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of excitement, there's mixed emotions kind of coming up day by day, whatever, which is normal. I was thinking about something that's so profound, so big. I want you to consider this for your life too. And what it was is, in the future, it's actually kind of started already, but it's going to get more and more intense. The thought that I keep having is, if somebody wants me to do something, get on a call, do, whatever it might be, it could be a million different things. It's literally like taking time away from my daughter, like taking time away from my wife, taking time away from my family in exchange for this thing. So in order for me to feel okay, the value of this has to go through the freaking roof. Like, before, I would be the nice guy who do like the free call or like whatever. And I love doing that. And it's a part of me. It's part of who I am. And I'll do it to a certain extent. But I never really had that thought before. Before, it was kind of like, well, this is part of my purpose. I should do this. It's an opportunity. You got to say yes to opportunities and so on and so on. But now it's kind of like, if I say yes to that, that means I'm saying no to my baby girl. So it's like, no to you, buddy. So what I'm saying is, the price of my time has gone up. The price of my programs are going up. The price of access to me is going up. Not because of like, I'm so cool or anything. It's not that. It's literally just because the exchange it's almost like it's priceless, to the point where the price literally has to like sting. You know what I mean? Like $1,000 for an hour. That most likely will sting for someone who wants to pay that, but good, because guess what? It stings for me to leave my family to go do the call. So it stings for both of us. Stings for you with 1,000, stings for me in a sentimental way. We're stinging together. It's a fair exchange. Whereas if I'm like, oh, and you're kind of like, yippee, free chat with Balazs, that's not a fair exchange of value, and it's no longer going to fly. So that's just kind of some things I've been thinking about. And the reason why I'm tying this all back and sharing this with you today is first of all, I got nothing to hide. Like, this is transparent. This is truthful. This is honest. This is what I've been experiencing recently, going through everything. But most likely what I really want to share is like inside of my Diamond Life Blueprint program. What I've done that is so different than a lot of other programs out there is, instead of being focused around like making money as the only benefit of the program, or not the only benefit, but like the main way to quantify, does this program add value to my life? What I've actually done is focused on simplicity and focused on optimization, how to do less, get more bang for your buck, get more ROI, feel better in all these different areas of your life, which ironically, when you got your house in order over here and everything feels good and you're honoring yourself in the right way, your business will do better. Your income will grow. Your freedom lifestyle will continue to thrive and expand. And that's why so many people continue to be stuck in the same place, is because they're chasing money, they're chasing business, they're chasing this income producing activities, and their life is hectic, their life is scattered, their life is feeling like intense, and there's a lot of pressure and these different things because there's too much happening at once. It's like what's the word I'm looking for? Like sensory overload, right? It's like things freaking flying at you in all these different directions. You got to manage your family, manage your house in order, your fitness, your business, your this, your that, and it's too much. I went into the city with my wife on the weekend, and we're driving in the city, and there's traffic, and we live outside of the city, and I was getting anxiety, and I was getting like this, like my heart was racing, and I was like sketching out, like kept like turning my head and looking at all these different things everywhere, and I realized, I even said it to my wife, Margaret, I was like, holy shit, I can't do this. Like, I can't be here. There's too much stimulation. Like, I'm seeing people fucking run across the street. One person's running with their dog. There's like all these people over here wearing masks, and like, there's lineups everywhere, and there's cars and lights and people honking, and there's bicycle. And I'm driving my car. I'm like, how did I ever do this regularly? Because I barely go into the city these days. And, I love the seclusion, and there's still civilization, and there's people, and don't get me wrong, but it's probably 10% of what it was when we were in this particular area on the weekend. And I was like, man, fuck that. And so if that is a thing that is happening in that moment, guess what's also happening for you in your day-to-day life, even though you might be at home? The stimulation from social media, the scrolling, the videos, the pictures, all these different things, the TV, the computer, the kids, the this, the that, the pets, you know what I mean? It's too much. So what my focus has been is how do you do less and achieve more, feel better, dial things in. And instead of selling 1,000 hours of videos and training in my program, it's very simple. It's like 5 to 8 modules. Each video is like 10, 15 minutes long with an exercise. And there's 5 of those. So it's basically 45 videos total, probably 4 hours, maybe 5 hours of content and some exercises that take a little bit of time, right? So you're actually, as a 6-figure network marketer who's doing well, who's making money, who's already getting some traction in their business, what most people don't realize is to get from 6 figures to 7 figures, dialing in simplicity, eliminating a lot of bullshit, and simplifying is a major piece of the puzzle. It's a major missing link, because then when all this other stuff is kind of cut away, everything's in order, everything's working smoothly, you're able to show up to your business where you already have a lot of training, a lot of mentors, coaches, support, and like pieces of the puzzle that is required for you to be successful. That's already there. And then you can just show up and actually do the thing that you have been having trouble doing. And the reason you've been having trouble doing it is because all this other stuff is out of order. It's out of whack. Like fitness and health, too complicated, too confusing. So you just resort to the simple meals and you just, whatever, you don't give a fuck because you're like, it's too hard. It's too much, right? Over here with like mindset, it's like, oh, I don't want to read all these books and there's too much information. Everybody's telling me different things. It's confusing. So you know what? I'll just stick with the way that I always think. I'll stick with the way I've always been. Same thing with money, right? It's like, money, I got to like track my expenses and then, like have a cash flow statement. Oh, it's too complicated. I'm just not going to fucking do it. And therefore your financial affairs aren't in order either. So there's all these things that seem complicated because everybody's talking at you from different places. And I went down that path for 10 years. I spent over $500,000 of my money. Did I need to spend $500,000 of my personal and business education on all this stuff I'm talking about? No, but it was necessary for me to sift and sort through all these things that were, not that great. But I'd find one little clue, one little nugget, one little connection that opened a new door for me. I'd go over there, do that. And that's what changed everything. So now the price that I had to pay was 10 years and $500K. But what I put into the Diamond Life Blueprint is simplified, because that's the goal. If you can just get really, really great at the simple, basic things regularly, consistently, and implement and execute, you'll realize that life, business, wealth, freedom, happiness, love, joy, relationships, all these different pieces are way, way simpler than everybody makes it out to seem. Most people try to make it sound so complicated and so confusing that you don't feel good enough to figure it out. So you feel inadequate, not good enough, low confidence. And you're like, oh, maybe it's just not for me. Maybe I'll never really truly live my dreams. Maybe I'll never truly make it to the next level. But the jump from 6 figures to 7 figures is about simplification. It's not about doing more. It's not about hustling more. It's not about not fucking sleeping. It's not that. It's simplification and then access to the people who already have what you want so you can fast track and accelerate it. So if you invest at this point of 6 figures into the right places, you can just propel yourself to the next level in a massive way, like basically like bouncing on a trampoline and then boom, jumping on a rocket ship and you're off. And that's why most people are really plateaued and stuck around that 100, 150, 200 grand a year mark, and then have a really, really tough time breaking out of that. It's like the craziest resistance line on a crypto stock, like the 3-year bear market in Bitcoin. That resistance line is holding people back, but it's time for you to break out. It's time for you to break through. So this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm personally doing calls right now for a very limited amount of time while we implement our new sales process, our new calendar booking system. We're hiring on some new people to support with that soon. So for a very limited amount of time, I'm doing a handful of calls to see if the blueprint is a right fit for you. If it's not a right fit for you, don't worry, because I won't sell it to you. You know what I mean? It's more important for me that you're a good fit than it is for me to sell you something, because I don't need the money. I'm actually doing this, like I said earlier, it's about the pinch. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't make it pinch for you, you're not going to take the program seriously. So there's actually a cost of investing. So I know you have skin in the game, and I know that you're going to be committed to your own success and your own results. If I make it some measly cheap price tag, you'll buy it, you'll skim through it, you won't take it seriously, because it's not going to feel like a big enough investment. So if it's the right price point, which I know it is for the right person, then you're going to implement it, you're going to crush it. So as I wrap up this Diamond Life TV episode, if you're interested in getting on a phone call with me, which is very exclusive and very limited, I don't know how many of these I'm going to do, but they're not going to be many. I want you to comment blueprint below on this video right now, and I will send you the link with a quick little questionnaire that can book a call with me. And we'll hop on the phone for, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes, have a chat, see where you're at. I'll give you some value on that call, give you some suggestions and some tips. And then at the end, if you still feel like it's a good fit and I feel like you're a good fit for the program, then we'll discuss how you can get involved. Sound good? Sound fair enough? Drop me a like, drop me something, drop me your favorite emoji, drop me a fist pound with the fire in between, which is one of my favorites, right? It's the triple combo, fist pump, fire, boom. So drop me whatever you like to drop. Thank you for listening. It's great to be back. It's been a few weeks. Took a little bit of time off to chill, baby moon with the wife, enjoying the summer heat up here in BC, Canada. It's beautiful. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for having a chat and listening and everything else. I look forward to next week's call on Tuesday as well. Have a good rest of your evening or rest of your day. And don't forget to do a quick little Insta story. Let me know what your favorite part of this call was. Drop me your biggest aha moment that made you think, new paradigm shift, and what you're going to do about it, how you're going to make a shift and a change. All right. Take care. Have a good, awesome rest of your week. Cheers.